Welcome to this explainer on building a state court system. We're jumping right in today to give you a comprehensive, documentary-style operational blueprint for establishing and, just as importantly, maintaining a complete court system. We're going to walk through the exact structural requirements, from the boots-on-the-ground personnel needed all the way to the specific protocols that absolutely ensure due process. Let's get started.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Foundations of the court. 2. Administration and officers. 3. Jury operations and powers. 4. Records and evidence management. 5. Accountability and peacekeepers. And finally, 6. Challenges and future sustainability.
Section 1. Foundations of the Court. Introduction and core components.
Okay, let's dive into this. The structural foundation of this entire system, it rests completely on the Jural Assembly. Think of it as the core engine of the whole operation. It provides the fundamental court services and acts as the ultimate oversight body for the grand jury, the trial juries, the court officers, the whole shebang. Because, honestly, without this assembly firmly in place, the specialized machinery of the court simply cannot function properly.
Now, before a formal court process is even triggered, there's a specific pre-court workflow that absolutely must be exhausted. Disputes always begin man-to-man. If that doesn't resolve things, they move to arbitration between two or more parties. And here's the kicker. Only when there is documented evidence that these initial arbitration steps have failed does the formal court process actually begin. This is crucial because it ensures the court's time and resources are reserved for matters that genuinely require judicial intervention.
Moving right along to Section 2, Administration and Officers. Court Administration.
You know, the court clerk is an absolutely critical elected position within this framework. When people approach the court seeking redress, it's the clerk who determines jurisdiction. How? By verifying the capacity in which the parties are acting and the subject matter of the case. Basically asking, does this involve actual people, land, and soil? Importantly, though, and we can't stress this enough, while a clerk observes these facts and maintains due process, they do not offer legal advice.
Let's look at their daily workflow, because it is incredibly meticulous. The clerk is responsible for preparing the orders that will ultimately be signed by the justice. They process all the paperwork, ensure it gets to the record keeper, assign case numbers, and actually organize the venue itself. Once a justice signs an order, the clerk steps back in to prepare the copies and make sure they're delivered to both the claimant and the accused via registered mail with a return receipt.
Now, what about security and integrity? Well, those are managed in two distinct parts. First, we have the bondsman. Their duties include confirming evidence is recorded, monitoring digital environments, like Zoom calls, to ensure only authorized participants are present, and sealing case documents. Then, on the physical side, the marshal at arms takes initial responsibility for the security of the courtroom building itself. Together, they lock down both digital and physical integrity.
Of course, none of this runs without financial operations, which require a dedicated treasurer or treasury committee. They manage the literal lifeblood of the court. We're talking about handling carriage accounting, securing seed funds, vetting signatories, and ensuring all deposits and disbursements are flawlessly executed based on an up-to-date ledger. Managing these seed funds accurately is exactly what allows the system to survive and stay financially independent over the long haul.
Section 3. Jury operations and powers. Jury operations.
There is a stark jurisdictional distinction when it comes to juries that you really need to grasp. On one hand, land and soil trial juries enforce public and organic law. They are fully empowered to decide both the law and the facts of a case. And crucially, they hold the power of jury nullification, meaning they can throw out legislation they find repugnant to justice. Contrast this with statutory juries. They actually cannot consider the law or the facts. They only apply statutes, codes, and regulations. It's a night and day difference.
And then we have the grand jury, whose authority is anchored in powerful historical precedent. As noted in the 1992 Supreme Court case United States v. Williams, and tracing all the way back to Article 61 of the Magna Carta, the grand jury acts as a completely independent check and balance. It's not initiated by the court, it's formed by the people. As Justice Antonin Scalia put it, the grand jury is independent of any branch of government.
And this brilliantly illustrates why that autonomy matters so much. The grand jury possesses the unique authority to independently investigate alleged violations of public law, summon individuals for questioning, and issue indictments and presentments. And they can do all of this without needing the court to initiate the process for them. They truly function as a standalone, independent oversight body.
But what happens inside the jury room?
That's where the jury lead steps in, to play a vital administrative role. They keep order, making sure everyone actually has a chance to speak. They guide the structured discussion of the charges, the evidence, and the facts, pinning down the who, what, when, where, and how. Finally, they verify unanimous agreement, yay or nay, and physically present the written findings to the justice. The justice then reads the decision out loud in a formal process called pronouncement. Section 4, Records and Evidence Management. Records and evidence. So the crucial point here is a vital distinction in terminology and procedure. Land and soil jurisdiction courts keep records. These are meticulous, numbered historical documents of facts and proceedings. Sea jurisdiction courts, on the other hand, keep files. This isn't just semantics, folks. This precise terminology is what guarantees the long-term legitimacy and the historical memory of the court's actions.
To guarantee these records actually survive, the system utilizes a really smart, fail-safe dual-layer archiving system. First, county recorders maintain the primary local records. Simultaneously, state record keepers maintain a complete duplicate copy of all digital, audio, and paper documents from all counties. And this entire archival operation is overseen by the elected Assembly Secretary. It guarantees complete redundancy.
Securing all this official documentation physically requires serious teamwork. Recorders, recording secretaries, and public notaries collaborate closely to stamp, log, and secure the paperwork. This official affirmation acts as evidence of the political status and capacity of the court actors. It establishes an immutable paper trail that literally secures the proper functioning of the entire assembly.
Section 5, Accountability and Peacekeepers. So, how do we keep order? Internal security is maintained by the peacekeepers and the assembly militia. They function as a special purpose committee focused specifically on promoting public safety and internal security within the defined geographic boundaries of their state. Basically, they ensure that the courts can operate smoothly and without disruption.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a broader ecosystem of accountability. The Assembly actually governs by committee to distribute power. You have the Court Venue Committee negotiating the use of public buildings. The Law Education Committee handles training. The Jury Pool Committee manages the vetting and reimbursement of jurors, and, as we mentioned earlier, the Treasury Committee ensures financial transparency. It's a real web of checks and balances.
Section 6, Challenges and Future Sustainability. Challenges, Future, and Summary.
Now, it's not all perfectly smooth sailing. Practitioners face several highly practical hurdles. For instance, sustaining trained, voluntary, and eligible jury pools that requires constant, ongoing community engagement. The courts also have to process complex cross-jurisdictional cases, like those involving incorporated businesses or franchises. Plus, participants often must navigate complex commercial protections, like state-of-the-union indemnity bonds. And remember, the whole system relies entirely on meticulous, standardized communication between different counties to function properly. It's a big lift.
As you look at this blueprint, the real question isn't just whether you can build the machinery, but whether your community has the discipline to sustain it for generations. So what does it truly take to keep this engine running? I'll leave you with this final thought. A functioning court system requires trained personnel, organized procedures, accurate records, and a commitment to due process and accountability.